Some people put success in a very objective way where they think this, that, and the other is what makes them successful, while others have their own way of viewing success. And regardless of that, I'm here to tell you that success might not actually be what you think it is. Let me explain what I mean. And I'm not even talking about the typical nowadays you see these gurus and whatnot just showing off these flashy cars, the lifestyle and whatnot. That's super cool. But I feel like most of you already know that not really being the reality of success. But what I'm here to talk about is something else. It's something that you only realize once you actually get to where you thought you wanted to be. And I say thought very specifically because you see, success is almost like climbing a mountain. And my way of putting it, you can have all the discipline, the motivation, you can have everything you need to actually get on top of the mountain. But only when you get on top and you realize that you were climbing the wrong mountain is when you really realize that success is not what you thought it was, because you feel empty once you're there. And this is what they don't tell you about success. And it is that it's usually not what you think it is. And I can tell you this firsthand because that's exactly what happened to me when I had set aside different goals of reaching 10K a month and then finally hitting 10K a month and then feeling like I'm on top of the mountain and then just realizing this is not what I thought it was going to be and this is not where I actually wanted to be. So then you end up just moving the goalpost and chasing new goals and different heights and whatnot. But I don't even think that's necessarily anything bad. However, what I want to emphasize for you is that I want to make sure you are climbing the right mountain from the get go instead of climbing Mount Everest, getting on top, and then realizing this was not the mountain you were supposed to climb. Right? That's kind of the whole point of it. So I want to make this video to really have you understand what success is, how to look at success, and what do you actually want out of it. And what it really comes down to is the way I like putting it is comes down to asking the question why and almost reverse engineering all your goals, all your missions, and all your final destinations. Because why? Why do you want XYZ? And then you answer that question and you ask, okay, but why? And I'll give you an example and kind of go a little bit more in depth, but I just want to give you a quick overview so you really understand what I'm trying to say. And I'll talk to you like I'll blend in my personal life you guys see on my videos all the time, just like actually being vulnerable, telling you guys exactly what I've gone through, how I felt, and why I did feel the way I did, and what you can do to get in it or like get in a better position out of that, right? So I was on a sales call, excuse me, the other day. It's literally yesterday, actually. And we were talking about this mentorship and whatnot, and he wanted to join, but he was an 8 out of 10. And I was like, okay, but what's like the 2 points that are missing for you to be a solid 10 out of 10? Typical sales question, right? And he said, it's just that I'm not sure, nothing is guaranteed. Like, what if I go through everything and then it just doesn't work out, right? So I just asked them, like, yeah, nothing in life is guaranteed, really, other than you're gonna die one day. But besides that, like, okay, let's just say you go through the whole thing and you don't get the results you want. What happens then? And then he realized that he's like, yo, I'm just gonna be in the same place. I'm like, okay, so it's the same place you're in already. So fuck do you have to lose, right? And that's when he realized, like, yeah, you're completely right. Why the fuck am I worried about whether or not I'm gonna lose when I know this is what I want? This is the mountain that I want to climb. So I'm like, exactly. Go and climb the mountain. However, what he told me before that, which I haven't told you yet, is that he had already climbed the mountain previously and realized that it wasn't the mountain he wanted to climb. So when he got there, he said, now I feel empty. The reason why is because even though he got the success he wanted, it wasn't what he actually wanted to do. So he had to climb down the whole mountain and come back to me and then join my mentorship to climb the proper mountain he actually wanted to do. And that's the whole point, right? Because when you realize that it's like, it doesn't even matter if it's going to work or not. It does, obviously, to some extent, but what it means is that he knows he's climbing the right thing this time. So even if it's not guaranteed, I want to do it. Otherwise, you'll never know. If you don't succeed, how will you ever, like, if you don't try, how will you ever know? You're going to succeed, right? And that's the mindset that he had. And I'm very happy for him as well because he made the right decision. And this is what I want to portray to you guys as well. Don't start climbing a mountain you don't want to climb. Make sure to choose your vehicle properly and climb the proper mountain. You see, the worst thing you can do is to do something you don't really want to do, but you don't know why you're doing it. And the reason why you're not doing it, why you don't know, is because you're not asking yourself why. So to give you guys back uh, the questions and whatnot I was going to talk about earlier, is ask yourself the question why and go through it. It's like, what is my goal? My goal is to make 10K a month, just as an easy example, right? And then you ask yourself, okay, why do I want to make 10K a month? And then you answer that, and it's like, well, it's because I want to live, I want to have freedom. Just as an example. And then you ask yourself, okay, but why do you want to have freedom? And what even is freedom? And then you start asking yourself these questions and you go deep, deep down the rabbit hole and just ask yourself, because this is your life. And what it ends up coming down to is like you realize that you're just living somebody else's, I guess you're living what somebody else wants you to live. And you're not living what you really want and the way you want to live. So if that's the case, then it's like, holy shit, are you even aligned with the things that you're doing? And why are you doing them? I can tell you about a different sales call as well, which was a year ago. I remember it to this day because I had a very good conversation with this guy. This is why I recommend everybody to start in the info space so you can actually improve your social skills. I saw this funny ass comment the other day. Was the dude said, "Sales improved my social skills more than a virgin's first nut," which is fucking crazy, and it's true. But this is why I recommend you to really dive deep into the info space and why I kind of teach everything in the info space. It's because you realize that when you understand these social metrics and how you behave socially and whatnot, you start asking yourself these questions, and then you down deep. Excuse me, you dive deep down this rabbit hole, and you realize that you're not living the life you want, but you're living somebody else's life, right? So my whole point is essentially the case of this. You need to ask yourself these questions to realize this and then align your life properly. Because if you're not aligned, you're just not doing what you really want to do. So even if you achieve the things you think you wanted to achieve, you feel empty once you achieve them because you didn't really care about them in the first place. You did it for somebody else and not for yourself or for your own life, right? So start asking yourself these questions. But reverting back to the sales call I was going to talk about. A year ago, I had a very deep conversation with this guy, and it was very wholesome because the dude wanted all this success and he wanted this and he wanted help with social media and he wanted to scale his business and all this shit, right? But then we got on a deeper level because I kept asking, like, the why though. And because, like, oh, I want to make X amount of money, I want to have this many followers and whatnot. So I'm like, okay, but why? And he's like, well, dude, like social media is where it's at. That's what I need to do. I do this. So I'm like, bro, okay, let's say we help you out and we get you to 20,000 followers, X amount of money a month. What do you do then? Like, why have you done all that? And then he's like, well, I don't know, he says. So I'm like, hmm, what do you mean? And then he's like, well, you see, like he did boxing. So I was just like, well, you see, I want to, like, well, if I just had the perfect life and all that. I'd just be boxing and making content. So I'm boxing. And he's like, yeah, so if I like could really just decide exactly what I wanted to do, I would just aim to be a professional boxer. Like that's what I really want to do. Sam was like, bro, if you want to be a professional boxer, why the fuck are you on this call trying to get your social media game up? Go in the gym and start fucking kicking people's ass and boxing. And he's like, yeah, you're completely right. Why the fuck do I even waste my time on this shit when I know what I want to do, but somebody else has me wanting to make a social media account? Mind blown for the dude. He couldn't believe it. He's like, bro, thank you so much. I'm going to climb the mountain that I know I need to climb, not the one I think I need to. And that's where most of you guys are stuck at too. You're going through college, you're going through the corporate ladder, you're going through all these things that you don't really want to do, but you do them anyway. And I'm not saying there's not a time and place for them because trust me, there is, especially like if you, for instance, want to have your own business, I highly recommend you have some sort of job and some cash flow along with it so you can build that business up while you still have an income, have your own place, etc., right? That's what I recommend. So there is a time and place for it because it's obviously going to come in handy, but you want to make sure you can just do enough and then emphasize the rest of your energy on where it actually matters, right? That's kind of one of the main things you can do if you're trying to build a business or do something that you want to do outside of just your freaking job and whatnot, right? So I really hope this makes sense for you because once you realize this and once you start taking the proper actionable steps to get you from where you are to where you want to go, that's when your life changes. But most importantly, nothing changes until something changes. So if you just sit there and think about all these things and say, yeah, Marco, you're so right. I totally get what you mean. I don't need to climb this mountain. Why the fuck am I climbing this when I should be doing this? It's like, yeah, that's awesome. But if you don't do anything with it, dude, you're going to stay stuck in the same exact place. Right. So you have to realize that action is the most important thing. And this comes with my whole point of this video, which means that success is not what you think. Because once you climb that mountain and you realize it's the wrong mountain, you just wasted not so much time, but also money and energy and a lot of years of your life as well in achieving something that you never really cared about achieving. And it's kind of funny because I've had a very clear realization of this and a very deep feeling to it as well. Because at this point in life, I get very happy for people that achieve things that they wanted to achieve. And the reason why was because when I ran this marathon like a month ago or a couple weeks ago, I finished it after limping for 22 kilometers and whatnot. I finished it and I couldn't believe I did because I'd never done anything that was so difficult in my life. Not because running a marathon is necessarily difficult, but just because of the circumstances that I went through with my body cramping up and everything happening along the way. It put me in such a state where I basically felt like this wasn't even doable, but I still managed to do it. And once I did, I had so many emotions, tears started running, and I was out of this world. Like it literally felt like I was in a third person view. My soul left my body. I could just be like grateful for the achievement that I did. So whenever I see somebody actually accomplish something they really wanted to do and climb the mountain that they really wanted to climb, I sit there and I almost like get emotional on their behalf because I know how it feels. And I know the deep state of gratitude that brings forth, right? So after realizing this, whenever somebody actually climbs a mountain that they wanted to climb and they achieve it, I get happy for them. But at the same time, whenever somebody climbs a mountain they never wanted to climb in the first place, even though they reached the success they thought they wanted to, it's not what they really needed nor what they wanted. And that hurts. That cuts deep, right? So please realize that you need to climb the proper mountain from the get go instead of climbing the wrong one just because you think society wants you to. I hope this helps. It's my main core message for you today. Climb the proper mountain because success is not what you think it is. They lied to you about success all along. If you have any questions, you want to learn more about the info space, how to actually make money online and have a proper freedom business, hit my Instagram down below. You can reach out to me, send me a message. I'm happy to help. I share behind the scenes and everything that I do. So be happy to do so. I'm happy to help with whatever it is. If it's just life, if it's business, if whatever, reach out and we can have a conversation. I'll help you out with whatever. Hope this helps. Catch you guys next time.